We've gone the distance. It's now Game 3 between Suning Gaming and Invictus Gaming. Now we're heading into playoffs. There's no stakes for either team. Invictus Gaming, we're looking at the record. They've already locked their playoff seed, so it's just about pride in making a point, and it feels like point received from Suning Gaming in game number 2. IG just threw down the hammer and smashed them.
They did it in the most IG way possible as well. It was from minute 1, they won their lanes. Ning just got to hang out, have the best time on Summoner's Rift, even got the MVP. He was just picking up his Kindred stacks left, right, and center. And pretty much that was all she wrote after laning phase. That's the IG way, but that's also one of the things that Suning, you'd feel like, should be able to attack. So coming into the 3rd game, I'd have to expect some draft adjustments to give themselves that little bit of extra early game strength.
Yeah, I feel like that's the #1 option. They need to find some sort of early game bridging power to compete with Invictus Gaming. They really thrive when they were able to snowball themselves, but if you ever give Invictus Gaming an inch, they will absolutely take a mile. Whereas when Suning were put in the same position, they had 6 early kills, so much of a gold lead, they couldn't close it out just as quickly and cleanly. And we said it before the break, we'll re-emphasize it now. It is the Shy coming in and cleaning out this final game for Invictus Gaming of summer 2018.
And this will never not be interesting to me. You know, like you watch these top laners interchanging constantly. I think the Shy is the one who does need more practice than someone like Duke currently, so I fully respect putting him in on the main stage for the last game. And it kind of feels like Duke comes in, he's like, don't worry guys, 0-1, I got it, we're fine. Gets the victory and is subbed off stage, so he gets to keep the 100% record, and the pressure's back on the Shy.
Now, the Shy did have a phenomenal Vladimir game in game number 1. I believe most damage for his team. Unfortunately, just wasn't synced with some of the team fights. You know, Syndra, Varus separated from him, but Rookie doesn't look perturbed about that at all. He's having a bit of a giggle.
And I don't even think the top laners were the issue or the solution between games 1 and 2. A lot of it was the rest of the map. Ning had a much better showing, and suddenly IG looked like a much better team. Rookie got himself the Zoe. Instead of the Syndra, where at level 4 he flashed over the wall, lost a lot of resources, he was able to lane properly, and suddenly the game looked a lot better.
And you know, at the start of the day, Rusty, we talked about the reason why Invictus Gaming have been this record-breaking team, and it starts with their Korean superstars. We said the cherry on top was JackeyLove. The fact that he's finally able to put on his performance, kind of be that prodigy that we've expected him to be. But coming into this game, you know, it hasn't been a terrible performance. He's been doing what he can, but it's not that same superstar performance that we need to see when you have other hyper AD carries like iBoy, Uzi, and SMLZ.
He's never stepping up and being the star, and I do wonder if that's ever going to happen, though, when you look at the rest of this team. So, you know, you put the pedestal on someone like iBoy, and it's definitely valid, but he's next to someone like Mako, where I feel like Baolan and JackeyLove have their purpose. They're playing their purpose as best they can, whilst the stars of the Shy and Rookie are running around barreling over their opponents.
Should have been a top lane clash, but it's been all about these bottom lanes so far. As we get into Champion Select for game number 3, Zoe, Tahm Kench, Aatrox, Akali, Rakan, and Camille with the priority pick of the Rise. We had questions about Angel's champion pool. He's played back-to-back games of the Twisted Fate. For game number 3, he throws down the gauntlet, and Rookie meets him in return.
And it'll be interesting to see this Jace come across, because it can go between mid lane and top lane respectively. There is a real chance that it goes towards top depending on the matchup, but the same thing applies for Rise, so never discredit that. We've got carries in the top lane, just as we do in the mid. Man, he's going at it with these hovers.
Ning's like, it's my final game of Summer Split. I want to kick back before playoffs. I've seen this played in the LCK. May I do it?
JackeyLove said this, and I think they said yes, finally.
Oh boy, JackeyLove's signature pick. We saw this again also in EU. It's also been running rampant in NA. So Draven is well and truly back, and JackeyLove is one of our Draven mains. Before he came into the LPL, this was his signature champion. He climbed through solo queue. It's why he's so aggressive. He loves to run forward.
One of 2 big Draven players that we know throughout the LPL. The other one isn't currently starting in a team. That is Crystal for Snake, one of the other big players of it. And of course, very different styles actually come across from both of those Dravens, but we'll see where he goes, JackeyLove. He's got his own preferences.
Now in response, it's Ashe and Alistar. I particularly want to highlight the Alistar. Yoon, again, Shen, Rakan, Ali, these champions that have the playmaking, hard engage potential are really where he thrives. But Alistar in particular to Draven. Draven has to give away a lot of his positioning due to his access to keep his damage output up. And Alistar can really throw a wrench in that because he just has a straight pathway to messing all of it up.
Yeah, I'm a Bard main, so I know very well what it's like to play against Draven, but the Alistar does seem to be like the better version of it, because Bard's not good. But usually, you know, because it's a predictable position, you know exactly where and when to step up. And the same thing applies, you know, hitting the Bard stunts, so I also think that, Braum is a potential option for them if that's where they wanted to go. But they've got the Ashe engaged, they've got the Ryze to rotate around the map. The Alistar provides some tankiness where they can drop ship a cow into the back lines, and they could even consider doing the Ming regarding that type of engage.
And of course, Shen is going to be the last pick there for Baolan. We suspect the Shy can still flex with Rookie on whether he takes that Jace as we head into ban phase number 2.
I think that
that's a Vel'Koz.
That Vel'Koz ban just signaled Rookie to be like, guys, I don't even play it. The look on his face right there was, what are they doing?
SOS, send help. On the other side, it's Kindred and Trundle, so 2 jungle bans being leveraged at Hacker there. Doesn't have access to the Camille, doesn't have access to Trundle or Kindred. Final ban Orianna, so could grab something like a Zac, like a Sejuani, because he's not going to get that Gragas.
Yeah, interesting to see where he goes now, of course, with all these bans towards the mid lane. You know full well that the Shy is going to be the Jace unless they secure right now that the Ryze is going mid. Jace and a Ryze is a decent matchup. The Ryze can build some armor. IG go here. I like the Gragas as an option.
And 3 times in a row over the course of the series, it has been counter-picked towards the top lane for Invictus Gaming. Whether it was the Shy or Duke, it's still that flex pick. We expect it to go into Rookie's hands, but like you said, the Shy also known for his Jace performance. And what do Suning need to round out their composition?
Well, they definitely do not need engage. So that's something that I would be looking at here. You expect that Zac and Sejuani then get taken out of the mix. I think Olaf's actually a brilliant pick here into his opposing side. It's very easy to play into Draven, very easy to get past the Shen and a Gragas, so very obvious forms of crowd control that you can Ragnarok through. And this would be a curious one. I really like that as a choice actually from Suning Gaming. Not good for the laning phase, I'll say that much for certain, but outside of the lane, you run riot.
And now Invictus Gaming must reveal their hand. Where is this Jace pick going to go? What are they going to slot into the top lane? They still have access to things like the Cho'Gath if they want another form of tank or if they want to layer more damage. You could have the Syndra, the LeBlanc. Looks like it's going to be the Syndra, and Invictus Gaming comfort picks across the board. It feels like the only person who didn't get their signature pick was Baolan, denied the Alistar, forced to take the Shen, but otherwise it's Jackie loves Draven, it's Rookie's Syndra, and it's the Shy's Jace.
And that's a lot of aggression from Invictus Gaming. We've always coined them as the win lane, win game team. It's 5 Forgivens in a team composition. And right now they've picked the Jace for top lane, they've got a Syndra for mid and a Draven for bottom. What more could you possibly want if you're IG?
But it's a big mid-game power spike type of composition from IG. They want to hit level 11 hard and they want to hit it fast. Now they will start to teeter off as the game scales up, whereas on the other side, Suning have so much control and elongated big 5v5s. If this game breaks past 30, 35 minutes, Suning's composition becomes a big problem for Invictus Gaming.
And barring the mid lane, they're actually pretty good at diffusing their opponent's strong lanes. When you think of the Ashe, she's got very good trade patterns from pretty long range, so it's a hard thing to necessarily break through. If you're the Draven, you need to cover a lot of distance. If you do, you can do it successfully, of course, with the Shen taunts, but even then, Alistar just headbutts you out, and there goes the trade. So Ashe can hold on. Poppy has got the shields, usually goes towards Inspiration with Corrupting Potion, Time Warp Tonics, and Cookies as well, so almost impossible to push a Poppy out of lane. They can really hold on during the strong laning phases of IG decently well and get to that level 6 point.
So where are you attacking if you're Invictus Gaming? Because it feels like they have the priority over the early game with picks like the Jace, like the Gragas, like the Syndra. Are you looking top side of the map? Are you looking to control bottom side of the map?
I mean, it's buyer's choice really here for Ning. He gets to choose his pick of the litter. Where do you want to go? What do you want to focus? As the Gragas with Predator, I would expect a half side clear on blue and then focus top side with Boots and Vision. That's where I would be looking to start with and get some control on that top side of the map. Poppy is a champion that does lose early into the game and scales up to be an unkillable tank in a Jace, but if the Jace gets ahead, he could even consider the Blade of the Ruined King build. He could even consider controlling his lane where the levels do enough damage anyway.
We'll see if Invictus Gaming can break that top side of the map or if Hacker has something to say about it onto that Olaf. It's game 3, 1 apiece between Invictus Gaming and Suning. Our last game of week number 10 before we head into week 11, the final week of LPL, and we're on to the Rift. Still a packed house here at the top of the Super Brand Mall in Shanghai. If you haven't visited the LPL arena, we are at the very top of this giant mall, which is located at the foot of the Oriental Pearl Tower. We are a central location to some of the most beautiful sites in Shanghai and one of the hottest destinations if you ever want to come and visit a tourist trap.
Some of the tallest buildings in the world as well.
I believe
you just call it, if you want to visit, the tourist trap.
The tourist trap. We have this giant bottle cap building, but I'll hold that thought right now as Jackie Love, on his signature pick of Draven, does find Fury and Yoon with a bit of a face check, and we're just getting right into gear here. This is not going to be a slow-paced game. Both these teams are incredibly bloody, love to play the early game. And here comes the taunt, and there goes the trade.
And notice that Jackie Love, of course, seeing the taunt go off on the Alistar is like, Fury, got you in my sights. Why would I hit an Alistar at level 1 when I can hit you instead? So that's going to be the name of the game here for a lot of it. And when you look towards the bottom lane, he's got the Conqueror. He's also gone towards the Doran Shield, of course. Q making up a whole lot of base damage anyway. And Shield giving that extra sustain against the Ashe's volleys. I like that from Jackie. And it does still mean that, you know, whilst it's a defensive item, he's still going to play aggressive, don't you worry. It's a Draven.
The best of both worlds. Curious there. Balan looking for the taunt, does find Fury. Here comes the trade. Just need to give space to Yoon to avoid that pulverize, but he doesn't even pull the trigger. Now, kind of back to what I wanted to point out was in the lane, Balan's done it twice now. He's actually absorbing some of the damage from the volley because he's trying to pick up some of those projectiles.
Yeah.
He's constantly skirting in front of Jackie Love, so Draven's able to keep his health up since Balan has more pots.
Yeah, of course, remember that we're on patch 8.15, so from 8.15 onwards, supports can only have 2 potions. Doesn't feel ideal for a lot of supports anymore, missing that extra potion to tank too many spells early, but you are absolutely right that a Shen can do that very successfully. Of course, having the Target's Brace does make up for a lot of that regardless.
Meanwhile, back in the mid lane, I feel like I've seen this every single game. Poor Angel. He's thrown to the wolves. He's against Rookie. No one is coming to help him, but everyone is coming to help bottom lane. Jackie Love forced to flash out as Yoon tries to find the flash pulverize.
Ning's
Here
nearby.
comes Ning for the counter gank. Has flash barrel. Finds the slow onto Yoon. He is now disengaging from the fight. Balan the lowest down as Fury now focusing him out. Looks like the fight's going to disengage. A lot of summoners burn. Both 80 carries now susceptible, as well as Yoon not having his flash available, now has Hex Flash.
Yeah, the action will dissipate. Jackie Love still has his heal. Huge, just saying hello, boys, but doesn't actually commit himself to the fight. Fury has teleport, so that's the one advantage that Suning have got going for themselves, where the heal from Jackie Love, whilst it keeps him in lane,
oh, last second.
Spotted.
Ning looking for the cheeky reach around, is spotted out by the level 2 Hawk shot just in time to save the day.
Also note that in retrospect, I think Ning may have regretted even using the flash in his body slam combo at all. Good respect flashes from Fury and from Yoon, of course, to get themselves out to safety. Does mean that the flash was a 1-for-2 trade, so still trading up. But if you're a Gragas, you don't have your boots yet and you're looking for those return ganks, really need the flash.
But all series long, it has just been all about these bottom lanes, which means that the Shy and Xiaoao are now completely isolated on the top side of the map. And there's enough experience in tape from this series to say, hey, junglers probably aren't going to make their way up here. We're no longer dealing with the Twisted Fate. We can unleash the Shy on this Jace pick, and you can just start to see it growing between the CS discrepancy. Of course, that wave is pushing into Poppy, so Xiaoao is still in a fine position, but we do expect the Shy to take over this matchup, but low on mana right now.
And I have noticed compared to the rest of the world, the LPL goes for Gragas ganks before they get the boots completed on the Predator. They use the flash body slam and then they get the Predator afterwards for the same type of gank regardless. But the rest of the world do seem to go for that half clear, get the Predator, and then they look for the ganks. IG and the LPL in general, it's a little bit more aggressive than the rest of the world, shockingly I know. But going for those plays before it's the most optimal, looking for the lower percentage.
Trying to get things snowballed. Speaking of optimal plays, if you take a peek at Jace's itemization, he's made his quick back, used his TP back into lane, has picked up a Cole as well as a longsword, so he's playing the long con.
Byron has subbed in for game number 3 here of IG vs Sinning Gaming. Does love himself some colors. Of course, the Shy just sustains a little bit more, but being as efficient as possible with his item choices during that sustain, I respect it. Once again, I would expect that he goes towards the Ghostblade build. The question is what past that? A lot of Jaces in the world are going Blade of the Wrong Kingsec, though some still consider going all in on the lethality options.
It feels like with this type of build path, he's recognized that he's against a Poppy, that he's not in a lot of threat, and he's just decided to buckle down and farm this lane out as opposed to try to find a big snowball and take over the top side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, even look at Poppy's items. She went back for a Doran Shield with the Corrupting Potion, so I think that's full acknowledgement that laning phase is just survive at all costs. The Shy's like, well, brilliant. I will just make as much money as I can at all costs.
Gentleman's agreement just to see this one through, pick up as much free gold as possible.
The real gentleman's agreement in a Jace lane is if they let you melee form the whole time. You get mana back. A lot of people don't actually know that. When you're playing Jace in hammer form, you get mana back on every auto. And if Poppy lets you get all of that back, well, then you just lose the lane by default.
Shy giving some respect there to the fact that Hacker has appeared around the corner as he's trying to pick up his honey fruit, and like you were saying, hasn't been hitting in hammer form, so missing out on some of that mana, as now Ning runs into you. See ya, mate.
Yoon's changed directions. Of course, he was cut off from the rest of his team. Hacker also looking towards mid lane. They have committed themselves to this.
Very early Realm Warp. They do manage to lock down Rookie, forced to use the cleanse, but here's Balan, finds the flash, and it's followed up by Ning, but it doesn't matter. Rookie falls down first. The Hacker is soon to follow. Now it is 2v versus 2. Yoon is just trying to create some space, does manage to lock up Ning. Now a 2-for-1 in favor of Suning, and both mid laners pick up the kills. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The support picks up the kill.
Of course he does. No other way. Of course, amusingly, whilst Yoon was disconnected from the rest of his team, was forced to go the long way back to lane. He didn't even get there in time. He's able to just regroup with the fight that breaks out for Suning Gaming. Super aggressive out of both Angel and Hacker. Predator was summoned, and then the Rise Realm Warp was also used, and just like that, they said, we will kill Rookie no matter what happens. And boy, did they.
And now in response, Yoon is now fighting Jackie Love. Jackie Love quickly turning this one around, wants to cash in on these stacks. One more auto attack, uses the heal, finds the distance, but doesn't get around the corner. Angel has now used his teleport into the bottom lane. Meanwhile, top, back to me. It's Xiao. He's trying to disengage with the bush, deny vision. He may actually get out of this one, and he's going to waddle away.
That's a lot of action happening all at the exact same time. The end result is that Jackie Love will be screaming worth in all chat. Angel does not manage to get Baolan. He flashes himself to safety, and all the pressure that happens in the top side from Hacker is just about buying space for Xiao to go back to base. The look-in on the kill was definitely possible if the enemy team wasn't already there at the same time, ready to save the Shy through all of that. So junglers just know exactly where one another are.
Baolan needs to be really careful because Fury has just now ticked to level 6. Excuse me, is level 6, has thrown his arrow. I don't even remember.
I did the same thing you did.
When did he throw his arrow?
Yeah. See, the problem with play-by-play, Frosk, is that you often just say what you're thinking. And I was thinking what you were saying, but I don't need to say it.
Where's the ability, Rusty?
I just have no idea. I don't remember.
Well, we went at top lane. He must have thrown it when we were like, Poppy, bottom, Poppy.
When we did the whole Old Spice
now,
spectator mode.
Back to me. It's a bit of a whiplash, but that's fine. It's now 9 minutes into this game. 3-2. Invictus Gaming have not run away with the early game like we expected them to and saw in game number 2. But top lane seems to be the real bleeding point, as it is 74-51, and you can see that Xiao is not having a good time against the Shy.
Biscuit there for Rookie, so he'll get some mana back whilst he is trying to sustain in lane. Wants to clear it and recall. We'll see how he goes during that as Baolan connects.
Tried to sidestep it. He's now going to use the Draven ultimate, but Jackie Love would have to flash
is angry.
if he wants to commit on this. Arrow finds Jackie Love, doesn't flash away from it. Probably going to be a mistake there. They're now using the Stand United to try to get him out to safety.
And try as you might, Jackie Love, you're not going to be able to survive if you didn't flash away. Did he just promote to Challenger as he died?
He did. He used the Stand United to try to save Jackie Love, and they promoted him to Plat.
Fantastic. I have full respect for that. Baolan's trying his little heart out. At the end of the day, even if Jackie Love flashed, Baolan was going to be the one stunned. And for some reason, of course, they choose to... He is just trigger happy with this Hex Flash. He loves it.
I mean, you might as well take your chances there. Speaking of trigger happy, the Shy's like, I dare you. Cancel my back.
Xiao's actually getting closer to a point in the lane, though, where he's going to be very comfy. If you think about it, going Ghostblade first is Jace, being the flat lethality. If any amount of armor comes across from your opposing laner, it starts to dwindle in its efficiency.
And something that people always take for granted is Poppy's dive potential, as they're going to set up a dive right here. Xiao has the tower aggro, manages to disengage from it, but now Hacker needs to finish up on this kill. Need to make sure that they juggle this correctly. They do. Hacker sidesteps out of the tower aggro, throws the axe, and connects with the Shy.
The real tragedy there is that the tower aggro immediately went to Xiao, I believe from just a corrupting potion stacking and dealing that damage over time. But they get the kill thereafter. Regardless of execution, they have enough damage to follow that one through. Now we've got Rookie hovering towards the top side with Ning.
And Hacker has absolutely all ideas that this is happening.
Yeah.
He looked at the river, he's like, nah, not today. Goes all the way around behind his tower to back into his jungle to get his blue buff. Gives away the Scuttle Crab, but recognized that Rookie and Ning were fishing.
Yeah, the second that you look towards the river, there is a Scuttle Crab there. Should I? Angel Ping's missing mid. I should not. Let's get blue buff this time around. And they do get it. Remember that Angel's also 2-0-1, so note that whilst he's gone towards his Merc trades again in this game to survive versus the Syndra, even do a lot of work against Ning on his Gragas, because he has the 2 kills, still stacking up very nicely with his item completions and circumvents the potential weakness in damage output that the Merc trades provides.
He must be sitting on a lot of gold, however, did want to make his back right there, but didn't want to miss the big cannon wave. So we'll see what kind of items that Syndra and Ryze are going to come back to with as another gank up top lane.
It's the Predator on as well, the Shy. Definitely going to get dove, but Ning nearby may actually come in and contribute to this one. Flash connects.
Got the cask, throws the cask, but it's the Ragnarok that lets him walk away. Xiao Al then pushes back to safety. Hacker should fall here, but maybe Ning possibly too far forward. The teleport comes in and the stopwatch on the arrow. He manages to survive, but only to walk back in and die. So still giving some safety to Fury. Looked cool, died anyway. Now Angel's here behind the tower, and the Shy is left in no man's land. Here comes Balan, but maybe possibly to die himself. Nope, thank God he died before the Shin landed in as Syndra joins the back half.
Now they're just diving bottom as well.
Now bottom.
Don't stop Yoon by himself. Definitely going to get dove here by Ballard and Jackalab. Just waiting for the ultimate to subside. Yoon navigating it as best he can, but he is always going to die no matter what. Jackie chooses to catch the axe and almost dies to minions for it. But you know what? We're okay.
Target's proc just to make sure that he gets out a little bit safe. And Balan, very thankful that Stan United didn't port him up to the top lane.
There's a couple of things you'd be looking at in that last fight. You'll have some questions about. We're getting really close to Yakety Sax, but we're not quite there. Ning actually body slams Xiao Al while he was swinging his hammer around to knock the Gragas to safety. Cancels it and dies. And you're like, all right, Ning, I see you've chosen the warrior's death.
It's been a bit of a rough series for Ning. It's been a bit of a Benny Hill situation, but we're back for round 2. Nope, he's gonna hit the control ward. We're not back for round 2.
He's been spotted this time. He'll choose not to. Maybe even at this point, he's just here to prevent Hacker from coming up a 3rd time. Lots of pressure under the Shy.
That has been the breaking point. The fact that this Jace is sitting 0-2 right now, still has a hefty CS lead, so perfectly fine onto the gold, but really needs to be ahead of the clock to do that type of damage that Syndra is able to pump out at this point. We talked about how IG's composition is really mid-game focus. You're looking at the level 11 power spikes. Do you think they're on track for this so far?
I mean, they definitely are through their mid laner and AD carry. Top lane's another whole question entirely. Hacker, it just never ends.
Gank number 4 as here comes the Predator. There goes the Ragnarok and the Shy trying to do some fancy footwork. Can he dodge it? Yes, he can! And he's out. Dodgeball. Meanwhile, bottom. Balan dead again. Who knew? There's the arrow onto Jackalab. Also dead. Has flash. Who knew?
Yep. Dies with the flash available. I don't know who knew, Frosker. Really don't know who knew. Hacker top lane. Who knew? He's going to control the tribal.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah, it is actually. You've been doing well so far. I give you some credit.
Oh, boy.
We haven't said well done, Frosker. And guys, you should all say well done, Frosker.
Oh, play-by-plays, I respect. Here comes Ning now, Hacker. Nope, back to mid. Now back to top.
Ladies, look at your man.
Now look back to him. Oh boy.
Rookie's doing well in mid lane still, though, all things considered, and Ning pretty much just needs to hover topside. The problem is, as Ning hovers topside, Fury and Yoon are unleashed in the bottom lane to take the 2v2s. We'll get to see how this one happens as well, because you know what, we should probably just cut away after that one. That is really upsetting. If it connected, Draven was able to hit the damage. You know, a lot of things could go right potentially for IG. But Fury, he knew something was up. He was running away, and the max range so slightly off for Balan. You hate to see it.
A game of millimeters right there would have meant completely different story. So, good attempt from Invictus Gaming's bot lane. I take it back. Who knew? You knew. but ultimately not enough. As the Rift Herald's now been picked up, we need to retake stock of this game. It is still basically dead even, slight tempo advantage to Suning because they have access to the Rift Herald, as well as the initial rotation since bot lane tower is down. You can see that Ashe is top lane, Draven is bot lane. It's going to be evened up, but that means that Suning have advantage on this play here.
I mean, you could see the way that Balan was posturing himself, and it was not to fight in the bottom lane. He was not revealing himself for a good reason. That reason was that they were considering perhaps trading on the top side of the map. The Shy also 3 minions away for the record on his cull being completed, so he's probably going to be super greedy regardless and hang around for that wave. He will most likely go back to base now, so the tempo shifts, and from this point, Suning just have the lead. They should be able to go mid, use the Herald, and you'd expect that's just all the out is broken if they can.
But they still need to respect the fact that Invictus Gaming are very strong here. The Shy should be making his back after this creep wave. As that was interesting. Hacker into the back does get the Ocean Dragon. He may even get Balan. Here comes Xiao, finds Balan against the wall. That's the Shin dead. The Shy is still top lane without access to TP, and that is a very deep Alistar looking for the back part of this fight. Decides to disengage. They trade 1 for 1 and walk mid.
Yeah, Herald's going to be summoned. Yoon's still playing goalie, however, doesn't want to let them get here before the charge goes off. May consider, never mind. You didn't see anything. Back to mid lane. The turret's dead.
Threw his hands up in the air. The Rift Herald does manage to trade the mid tower. They get the Ocean Dragon, so still a trade up for Suning Gaming. In fact, the Shy has to pay so much respect to Hacker just sprinting around this map that he's unable to capitalize and get the top tower. So still a swing of power for Suning as we take another look at that one. I feel like the observers weren't ready for this one.
No, no one was ready for Xiao to die there. That happened real quick.
Flash cask into Syndra ultimate. Goodbye, Poppy.
Yeah, lots of damage out of that duo for certain. Of course, Gragas has been building AP more often than not. You'll see the same thing here, going towards the Zhonya's Hourglass, name of the game for every Gragas. Whilst you're not a tank, that does give you a lot of invulnerability, and alongside the W, giving some extra sturdiness. Can't complain with those 2 items.
And it looks like the no huddle play from Invictus Gaming as they immediately run the play back, don't take time for their backs, and manage to find a mid-tier tower. So ultimately didn't get top, still got mid, and get some of these table scraps as we are still dead even. 31.5 to 31.1. Suning Gaming have been trying their hearts out in game number 3 and are looking to go the distance against IG.
But it is amazing the little details of IG not recalling in that instance. Suning doing the expected play, they take the fight, they summon the Herald and they go back to base. Because IG can stay, first and foremost, you know, a Bloodthirster Draven has got a lot of sustain. But because they stay and they get the trade, things could be a lot worse for IG. In fact, they're now brilliant considering it should have been worse. And top lane is only a short breath, yeah. That's what it is.
I'm trusting short breath.
Falling down. Whatever a short breath looks like, that's what it is from falling down.
A stiff breeze from falling over.
Yes.
I got you. Taking stock of some of these items.
I don't even know how I got there.
It's okay, hard advance. We've got 2 completed items on Ashe. Fury right now is sitting 4-0-1, so majority of the gold is stacked between their 2 carries, Angel and Fury. This Ryze and Ashe are a big problem, do have their core itemization. And again, this is where Invictus Gaming really should be strong. They do have the Blade of the Rune completed for the Jace, didn't go for that Ghost Blade. They've got the Luden's Echo on Syndra and the Bloodthirster plus BF Sword on Draven. They want to fight, but more so in skirmishes. I think a full 5v5 would still be very dangerous for them at this point, unless they layer some of that Jace poke.
I've seen this play before from Invictus Gaming. That particular area, Yoon has seen the play before as well. You can see the ward just placed down by the Alistar. Top lane still going to be a point of contention. Rookie should be able to contest Angel pretty much at all times. I don't think he'll be able to one-hit Angel, though it looked like he could. Remember that the Seraph's Embrace is there, and that the Merc Treads are there to reduce the duration, on top of Ryze having his passive shield.
Of course, one of the other advantages that he has is access to a TP at some point, as well as the Realm Warp, so can play a bit of the mobility game.
There's a lot of risks being in the side lane for the Syndra, not being able to group up with the rest of the team, though you can handle Angel and you can control him and prevent him from pushing those lanes. Jace is the other one that you have to look at. He chose to go the Blade build, like you mentioned. Avoids the Ghost Blade, but by doing so, when he groups up with the team, it'll be less damage overall to the carries and more to the Poppy.
See if they can play this front to back. So are you saying that they want to play a 5v5?
Certainly looks like they're looking to group up right now, IG.
Was it the quick, brisk sprint at them?
It may be. There's a lot of momentum behind that Gragas.
That was the unsure moment when I wanted to hand to the color caster. The color caster was like, oh, they're about to fight right now. I think you should take it back, hot potato.
And you don't know if you should take it back because you're the color caster as well. And here we are, we're making it up as we go.
Round and round it circles. Invictus Gaming just trying to, it feels like fine farm for the Shy. It feels like they've moved him from top lane to bot lane to mid lane, just trying to pick up as much farm as possible, get this Jace into a position where he's doing more damage to people outside just the poppy.
Yeah, but he has been. And you look at the CS difference between top laners. About 40 odds, so doing well for himself, even considering all of the ganks that were in the top lane. And the CS lead that he had is only accelerated, as we do look towards Ning once again in the middle lane. IG are definitely looking for that. They are hunting for the picks in mid, and it's all about Fury, really. You can't get Hacker, you can't get Yun on an Alistar. You have to get Ashe if you're going to make the pick.
Likewise, Ashe still has a lot of that gold as well as the big key arrow. So while they have been hunting for Fury, constantly threatening with that Shin and the Gragas, at some point, Fury can look to go on the offensive when the team is aligned and start looking for those arrows. And I feel like Jackie Love, Flash or not, he's going to eat that arrow every single time.
Yeah, he'll find a way. Doesn't have the QSS yet either, as that was very satisfying to watch from Angel. Note that Rookie, it's a small detail, but he let the cannon die whilst the turret went down with the big stack of minions.
Some back and forth. Looks like it's going to be the great ward war.
Ah yes, also the great recall in Vision. There's one spot where there is a ward for IG in that river. And you note that the Shy immediately pushes top lane, feels some freedom as well. They know Angel's by himself, so topside jungle can get more aggressively cleared.
And the game has really slowed down, and where Invictus Gaming have been trailing in gold lead, they have now found themselves with the advantage, and a lot of that because the Shy has been given these top lane waves, these bot lane waves, and has been left alone on an island. So that CS difference, now about 60, continuing to grow in his favor. Invictus Gaming, even with Suning Gaming having access to the enchanted crystal arrow, seem unable to force IG into fights, and they've just been cleverly grabbing all of this free gold in CS.
It's amazing, we even said this during game one when IG were comprehensively losing, when the gold difference was about 5,000 at this point in the game. Still, they found a way to get all of their farm onto all of their carries and very successfully get themselves towards the 3-item stage. Now, you've already mentioned this, IG are a very strong mid-game composition. They do have some semblance of late game, but Suning Gaming.
And there goes the arrow directly onto Shin. He's going to die before he's able to use the Stand United. It is now a 4 versus 5, but a big key ultimate from Fury used on just the support, and a lot of the damage dealers are still left there. Now all eyes on Yoon, has access to the Flash Pulverize. He would be the next form of big engagement.
Yeah, he is, but he doesn't have the ultimate there. So if he does, he'll actually be a very fragile Cal that would die very quickly. So he needs to respect that fact. And that's when Xiaoel has to come into play, has to group up with the team. That's what you're looking at right now. IG, they're grouping. Ning is actually way too low to continue this. Suning are going to push forwards.
And here's the chase potential. They also have access to Realm Warp, but it looks like they're going to take the free dragon, and Invictus Gaming are able to disengage.
You'll take that if you're IG, and very unfortunately for them, of course, their support, whilst he can come back with the Shen ultimate, they couldn't, as a team, body their way into the area in time as the 4v5. A lot of respect needs to be paid. Rookie may go for this.
Hacker needs to be a bit careful. It is 23 coming on 24 minutes into this game. A jungler dead at this point could potentially mean a Baron start. At least you need to respect that potential, especially when you have this many damage dealers across IG.
It's always amazing that Brolaf, even in the Chinese client, just says chug and bro.
It's a universal language.
American. Yep.
That is not our dialect. Listen, Reggio.
I've only been to California, Frosk, so as far as I'm concerned, that is your only language.
Like, yeah.
Chug and bro.
25 minutes on the clock. I know I'm about 20 seconds too early, but I needed to hard advance, and that's where we landed. Looking around at the items, you have 2 core items completed for pretty much everyone across the board. Defensive itemization coming in for Fury, 5-0-1, still the #1 gold holder for his team. Now looking at what I believe is probably going to be an Infinity Edge. No, probably is. What is he built? She built now.
The Mercurials, Ashe, or?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the Mercurials for certain. Infinity Edge is possible because you've got the Rununs already there for the crit, so it depends on how you're feeling.
I feel like she wants to hard scale.
Well, then Infinity Edge would be the best one, right?
That's what I assume Fury will do, but I'm a little bit cautious on it because I know he's been pretty flexible with her builds.
Well, things you don't need is armor. In its current state, you've got to get through shields more than you need to get through raw, resistances. It's a Zhonya's that'll be seen for the jungler, but that's really it. And then the support will be the only other person who has any kind of resistances. So Infinity Edge does make the most sense in terms of just dealing raw damage to get through the Shen shields or to get through the person that you're trying to pick off.
Keep our eye on the itemization. Otherwise, the other big thing is the fact that Draven has his rapid fire cannon as well as the Bloodthirster complete. Ooh, not great. That's going to be easy hard lock CC. Can he get out? He does!
Thank you, Angel. Lord bless Angel. That's Hacker very tragically presses stopwatch. Ash Arrow very wide as well. The Shy. He's going to find himself in a very prolonged 1v2 here. We'll see if he can make the miracles happen. He's got a lot of map to work with still.
Speaking of Guardian Angel, I think he may be out in front of this one. He's trying to find the execute. Instead, he finds Hacker delivered from Ryze's hands himself. Comes back from spawn, picks up his kill. Couldn't have gone better than that.
Not at all. And of course, you immediately look towards the map. You look at where IG were. They were next to the Baron, but they couldn't kick it off. They choose not to take the Baron, or not start the Baron, I should say, knowing full well that Sin Gaming, Fury has got teleport, Xiaoal also has teleport, and that there's actually no point in going for that objective. They'll all be there with a numbers advantage.
But it still feels that at this point in the game, even though Invictus Gaming have slipped behind in gold again, that they're still kind of in control, that they're calling the shots or at least reacting appropriately. And again, it's this stark difference that when Suning Gaming in game number 1 were given such a snowball, such a lead, that they still struggled to close, whereas in game number 2, when IG were given even a sliver of a lead,
yeah, they just ended.
Snowballed, steamrolled through. So Suning Gaming, they're putting up one hell of a fight in this best of 3. They could go the distance and do it, especially on this team comp, but it does feel that you can't quite count IG out yet, that they're starting to grind gears against Suning a bit.
Yeah, you know that feeling, like when you're playing against a split push composition and every time you kill them, you can't do anything because you're just so close to your own base and the distance you have to cover, you're not set up, you're not really prepared. That's how it feels right now. Where the one thing I can take away from this, and actually we're going to have to hang on a second, they are committing themselves.
Yeah, completing the teleport from Xiaoal. Looked like he went for the charge there, but was interrupted by the Draven knockback. So very fortunate timing there for Jackie Love. I don't think he meant to do that, maybe just trying to create distance initially, but canceled the ability. And that's a free teleport. Meanwhile, the Shy has his TP on bot side.
Yeah, so the Shy is actually in a very cozy position, and this is the exact thing that we're speaking about. IG, now that they have got the initiative, they are able to make the plays. They force the teleports. They get a flash out of Angel as well. And suddenly with the map being controlled by them, they can go towards the Baron again. And if Sin Gaming make a play bottom, the distance is so great they have to cover, and IG already set up. If they go towards the Baron and defend, the Shy gets a turret. There is no winning situation unless you're able to cleanly beat your entire opposing team.
And at some point, Suning do need to pull the trigger on this arrow. Fury the flash, but he doesn't find it. He turns it around, locks Bao in under the tower, and Hacker cleans up the kill. It is now the charge forward. Yoon has that flash. There's the Realm Warp. They get the cow into the back line. Can he find the engage? And I think Invictus Gaming may have scraped away tail between their legs as they fall back to safety.
And this is the first point where IG have tried to make the play. It's the second time that Baolan tragically has missed his flash taunt combo. This Shen not having the best day on Summoner's Rift. Baolan may no longer be allowed to have Shen duty.
And showcasing why it was so important that they had such a high priority on that Alistar, denying it away from Baolan, one of his comfort and most played champions this split, and then also just looking phenomenal for Yoon on it. Still has that flash, now looking for the engagement. They completely control vision over the Baron.
Yeah, when you look at this draft, you might be thinking to yourself, Baolan's taken the Shen away from Yoon because he is just a Shen god, but you're right, that wasn't the case this time around. Now Jackie is going to have his mid lane threatened by multiple Sinning members. At the end of the day, nothing really matters, nothing changes.
The steal on that.
IG just regained control. Yeah, there was they tested his mettle.
He planted his feet.
Okay.
You're not gonna. Feels like IG's play right now have been trying to abuse the TP discrepancy between Xiaoal and the Shy, just playing around the mid lane, pulling people back and forth. It does find them a dragon as well as some decent chip damage on that bottom tower, but they are losing this small window where they have that TP advantage to play around the Baron.
That Mountain Dragon does get them access to the Baron faster. If they want to take that one down, they have got a significant amount of damage that they can deal to it. If Rookie ever has the blue buff, then his damage that he does to the neutral objectives is very significant. Of course, you run the risk of being out of mana if you don't have that buff. When you look at the items that he's completed, only the Lost Chapter are available on the Luden's Echo is really the only mana pool that he's got for himself. So I'd actually say he's kind of blue reliant if they want to try and sneak away the Baron.
In a straight 5v5 front to back, who wins?
It's hard to say that it isn't Suning. You know, I feel like in a front to back style of composition, IG's, well, I mean, yeah.
That hurts.
That was weird. I would say that, you know, IG, if they could...
It was the ward, the control ward from
Yeah.
2. He's like, Rookie's got like 16 balls back there, immediately pops the ultimate. But here comes the engage from Xiao. Uses the Poppy ult quite offensively, trying to just lock down Bao Lan, but that means there's no disengagement. It eats a lot of poke in return from the Shy.
Yeah, I will say the consideration of front-to-back fight is which tank dies first, and I think that IG don't necessarily have tanks, so they're just going to be about kiting. Suning Gaming have a lot of tanks, especially if the Alistar has the ultimate and Poppy is able to complete the third item, which I would hope he's able to get towards right now. Not just yet.
Invictus Gaming now completely control the Baron. You asked for the blue buff on Rookie. He doesn't have it this time around, but Baron is being burned. Spotted out by Hawkshot. Look at Angel's positioning. He's repositioning himself with the Realm Warp.
It means they're going to turn, not burn.
Yep, just getting on the right side of his team. Some poke laying down back and forth, but Suning may have done the duty, forced IG off of the Baron. They now have better positioning on mid lane, are forcing the backs from IG.
Yeah, you notice that Rookie, while he doesn't have blue, he chooses to harass them or threaten them instead. The Ash Arrow is going to be used to cancel the recall just there, so they stop one of them from going to base. That is JackeyLove as well. And they get themselves a turret for it. That's a cute little play, honestly, coming out of Suning Gaming's AD carry. Fury, I feel like he's having the set of his life.
Finding the key arrows when he needs to, particularly on JackeyLove. I feel like that's a targetable ability to Draven. I think that's the 4th arrow this game that just popped him right in the jaw. But Suning with that, they take the mid lane tower. I know, right? Just a target right on his face.
It is one of those weird things with JackeyLove. You just feel like he's got giant magnets attached to himself for Ash arrows, but, you know, magnets can't attract cold, so not sure what I'd call it. It's a tongue.
You have to stick your tongue to the pole for it to freeze.
He's got big tongue sticking out, I don't know. Okay.
This got weird real quick. It's okay. They've made their backs. We continue the tango in the fight over Baron. You okay over there?
I'm a very visual person, and I have a hard time visualizing certain things, so I come up with the first thing that's in my mind.
I understand that our caster duo name is Frosty, but let's leave the Christmas story
Yeah, we're not catching Ash arrows either.
a little bit closer to December. We're continuing to play around the Baron area. The teleport for Xiao is just about to come back up. Again, taking stock of items. We've now completed all of our third items. It was the Infinity Edge coming through the Ash, so has access to both defensive items, the Hex Drinker, the QSS, as well as 3 offensive items, making sure that JackeyLove is a magnet for all of these Ash arrows. And it feels like all of the control, all of the frontline damage and threat that Suning have, front to back, like you said, they'll just roll over Invictus Gaming. So how do IG break open this map and try to claw this series back?
I mean, the way that we speak towards front-to-back style and saying that Suning have advantages, I think there is also still a world where IG can handle them, right? And the reason that they can handle them is they can kill the tanks pretty successfully if certain things aren't available. It's about not going for the first all-in fight, but baiting summoners out, maybe getting the Alistar ultimate out, and then all-inning the second time. And Suning Gaming, they started off the Baron, but IG are very quick and very available to the area also. And this is a big bait where they don't want the Shy sitting against Xiao consistently. I think the Shy is finally confident enough to start taking these fights regardless of his opponent.
And this looks like the win condition now that you're talking about. The Shy really putting it to Xiao in this bottom lane. In fact, even pulling Fury a bit to try to respond, possibly with the Ash Arrow. Does have it in his back pocket. And meanwhile, Invictus Gaming, they continue to siege and continue to control tempo in this game despite being at a gold disadvantage. Yes, it's small, but what I'm trying to compare is just the control and the confidence that these teams have when they're playing through the mid game. IG just look so much more leagues ahead of Suning Gaming.
It definitely still feels like that control will persist unless Suning Gaming on the back foot make the engage. And I mean, the person you have to look at for that is Fury. The Shy currently hitting the inhibitor turret, and there's the engage.
Yep, forcing the engage. The arrow comes out. JackeyLove manages to dodge that one, but Bao Lan is the sacrifice, and JackeyLove dies anyway. Here comes the Realm Warp. It does get Rise into the fight. They do find Ning, turning the damage onto him. Hacker quite low, has the GA, so is able to charge forward, but Invictus Gaming managed to escape with the Blast Cone.
The real tragedy for Suning is that Angel committed himself to the Realm Warp. Syndra basically one-hits him. Lots of damage comes out, and Angel goes down. When you look at the trade overall, it's a 1 for 2. but because Suning Gaming have got numbers alive and numbers that can deal damage to the Baron, inclusive of the Smite, they step up to the plate.
And the only option that IG have is to try to smite steal this or fight them off. The teleport comes through into the mid lane, so the Shy is now around. Ning does have, or excuse me, doesn't have flash, does have smite.
Rookie also has no mana, so you have to look towards the steal above all else. Suning Gaming, they're going to turn away from it. The Shy is in, but the Smite secures it. Suning will get the Baron. They should be able to continue the fight.
And now here comes the fight. The Shy is going to take down Yoon. Possibly, if he doesn't get distracted by it, he now turns back towards his team. Invictus Gaming cleaning up all of these Barons. It's now how many can Suning get out? It looks like it's just going to be 2 on Poppy and Alistar. You
have to take that, though. At the end of the day, Suning Gaming, they get the Baron. That was pretty much the win condition. Also just going to flash forward, Xiaowel. Find himself in Ning. Oops-a-daisies.
Needs to make sure that he gets out, though, if this is worth it. Otherwise, he just killed another Baron to trade a 1-for-1 kill. He's trying to find the push onto the creep. He does. Can he dodge the stun?
And the slow also misses. He's actually out.
And by the skin of his teeth, the Shy says, no, not today. This is a deep chase.
He also dashes to a minion. He's got the blast cone to get in. He's going to go... Okay, he made it. I thought he was going to go straight up. They choose to go to the Elder Dragon. Xiaowel, amusingly in position if they want to try and contest this one.
He does have teleport. He can quickly get back into this fight, but the Dragon is going down so quickly for the side. Here comes the TP. Balan now back up and available. Oh, the ebb and flow. Suning just need to hold them down. Here comes the damage. Yoon is trying to find the engagement. Can he get in? He can't find the stun onto Jackie Love, but a very early cleanse as the arrow goes wide. Yoon sacrifices his life, but zones them out. The Elder Dragon falls to Rookie. The damage of Syndra giving IG the benefit there. Fury kites back around the pit. This fight is an absolute disaster. Everyone has scattered, and I think Angel is going to fall.
And IG are still the winners in the end. They actually get rid of the Baron buff from their opponents. They pick up the Elder Dragon on the back of Rookie somehow with the burst. And Invictus Gaming with the sidewave control in top lane, with bottom as an open inhibitor as well. I mean, they could go anywhere they want now, utilize this buff effectively.
And it feels like Invictus Gaming, despite playing from the back foot, from the gold perspective, for majority of this game, were never not in control. They took it back over the Baron, killing Suning after they picked up the objective. Rookie secures the Elder. They now have the gold lead. And it just feels like even though IG should have been forced out of this game, they were never counted out.
Now, Balan starts this one off with the most tragic of taunts, but the thing you have to remember is that Suning Gaming, they get one good engage. That's their composition strength, but the Ash Arrow misses. Alistar uses the ultimate early and survives for as long as he can, and Xiaowel's flank is actually just losing a one-on-one to the Shy. And when you consider that they're just in a one-on-one, that means the 4v4 is very good from IG. They're able to get the picks, and in the end, Angel does also go down. The Shy with a very good flash gets himself to safety.
It just feels like Invictus Gaming thrived in the chaos. They now have the Elder Dragon and 2 pushing lanes, as well as the gold lead, to try to settle the score for Suning. They're now on the offensive, on the attack, and looking to clean up this series.
You can see the way Fury was posturing towards bottom lane. He was hoping the Shy would step up just that little bit too far, but he doesn't reach. They don't get the opportunity, so now he has to come mid and clear, and that's the go button for the Jace. IG can just hover around 2 different lanes at the same time, and eventually the inhib drops.
Someone's going to have to commit. Now, Suning do have loads of hard CC, the Alistar, the Ashe, the Ryze. They can choose to try to catch out Invictus Gaming if they don't orchestrate and time this perfectly.
Yeah. They have about 10 seconds on Rookie's cleanse if they throw the Ashe Arrow. There's a QSS for Jackie Love, so they can't hit him. Shen is a tank. Gragas can survive. He has the Zonias afterwards as well, and the inhib's already dropping. Suning, they're running out of time.
Unable to make a decision, Invictus Gaming, they're waiting for another creep wave. The Shy is again continuing to pincer and to poke from the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Suning, like you said, running out of time, running out of choices.
But the arrow was used and Jackie Love just QSS'd it, so not hitting the target that they were after. That's a big part of their engage missing now. When you look at what else do they have, they can try Ryze ulting and Alistar into the backline. They can run directly at their opponents, but that's what they're going to do.
And here comes Alistar. Special delivery from Suning Gaming, immediately disengaged by Rookie. Suning Gaming now turn onto Baolan. They find him and now look towards the Shy. He's able to disengage from the fight, and Rookie cleans up the kill on the back half. With Jace now disengaged from the fight, Ning flashes over the wall and forces the cast. He may fall down for this, but Jackie Love, the Shy, and Rookie are still alive. Suning hold on to the base, but lose their bot inhib.
And great idea from Suning Gaming to throw the Alistar in. Him standing next to the Draven and Syndra zones away a major part of the damage source from IG, so they get the trades, and in the end, you take that if you're Suning Gaming. The tragedy is that they couldn't do it earlier. When they had the inhib available in the bottom lane, they almost get the Shy as well, and a lot of summoner spells now missing. We get to see this fight again.
Trying to solve the Rubik's Cube, and I give a lot of this team fight credit to Rookie. The fact that he was immediately on the defensive, his target selection has been impeccable this series, the fact that the Shy was able to disengage from that. And if Ning hadn't gone so gung-ho, there's a world where you just sit back, you wait for Jace to have access to either mana or a Shock Blast again, and you continue to poke with the creep wave.
Oh, come on, Baolan. You've got to hit your taunts, man. The Shy gets the kill under the rise, so it doesn't matter in the end, but I'm not keeping a counter or anything, but I think his percentage of hit is below 20. I'm keeping a counter.
It's not great, but he used the Stand United. It looked like they tried to find the Shy out alone into a side lane. He wasn't alone. He had Baolan. Don't need to hit that skill shot.
No, you don't. It's targeted, thankfully. IG, of course, they've got themselves the 4v5 now. 38 seconds, and it's Rise that's missing. So Elder Dragon or no, they've got the opportunity to press forwards now. Not a lot of health remaining. This mid lane turret.
Feels like they're a bit more organized this time around. There's the big creep wave, but here comes Hacker, and there goes you. The arrow connects onto the Gragas. He's forced to immediately use the stopwatch as one of the members dies. Poppy ejects another one. It's now 3 members, but Invictus Gaming just swarm and kill them underneath the tower. Jackie Love is now back into the fight. Invictus Gaming forced through Suning Gaming, and they're now on the retreat looking for the victory.
And they should be able to end the game out here. You knock away one damage dealer from IG, they find a way to multiply and bring in more. IG, they've got the game in their sights.
And here comes the last stand. Can Suning Gaming hold on here? Angel taking massive damage from Jackie Love. The Draven is fully stacked. He's on the charge. He finds one, looking for 3. It's the triple kill. They turn onto the Nexus, and Invictus Gaming will close out Summer 2018 with a victory.
And they finish it out 18-1 as well, equaling their record from the spring split. Invictus Gaming prove once again that they are a dominant team, that they are a powerhouse organization with star-studded roster members behind them, and that they can still go to the semifinals with a deserving win in the end. Of course, Suning Gaming, you have to give them credit though. They challenged them, they did push them to their limits. Fury having a fantastic set.
And it's been confirmed that Invictus Gaming have most games won, but because it was not a 2-0, they do not get the record for winningest season. So again, Suning, the thorn in their side, deny them in spring and deny them again in summer, despite losing the series.
It's not something that would concern IG too much, it's just us being very excited about the possibility, as we are, of course, comparing them to 2015 and 2014 results from other teams. But for IG, their sights are always going to be set towards the playoffs. That's the ultimate goal for them. The closer that they can get feeling good, the better that they'll be. But the same thing has to be said for Suning Gaming. It's all a big playoffs race. These are 2 teams that we'll be seeing in those eventual tournaments in the gauntlet as it happens.
And this feels a little bit too close for comfort. There was some cracks that we saw from Invictus Gaming, some of their decision-making, choosing not to respect the Gangplank Ultimate, not to respect the global presence of the Twisted Fate, looking for some of those numbers disadvantages. So yes, they take the series win, but this was not the hyper-clean, perfect performance of a super team.
No, it's not. And I can say for certain that if you're Baolan, you go back and you do not VOD review that game. You just pretend it never happened.
Get the practice tool.
Yep, you hit the practice tool and you practice your Shen flash taunts. If you Ning, you hit the practice tool and you practice your flash Gragas body slams, because a couple of those things could be cleaned up, and that's just mechanics. Overall, when you actually consider this game number 3, IG controlled the map very well.
And a lot of that thanks in turn to the Shy, 37.2k on that Jace. If he doesn't get the MVP, I would be a little bit shocked, because I agree with you. I feel like it was just so much control from this Jace into the side lane, although Rookie managing to secure the Elder Dragon will probably take the man of the match in the end.
Playing well around his weak side, the Shy, as well, to not die as much as possible. But yeah, you know, there's only so many times you can play like you're losing against a Poppy as Jace without being ganked successfully. So Hacker, I respect it. He went up there a lot, but at the end of the day, Jace is always going to outscale a Poppy, and Hacker going to top side could very easily have been bottom, could have been snowballing in other places on the map. So I respect his choice, but I also think that there was opportunities elsewhere.
I feel like this is a byproduct of Suning Gaming still having some growing pains. So we talk about some of the cracks from IG. On the other side, Suning, they should feel happy going into playoffs with this type of performance, only almost taking down Invictus Gaming. But you're still seeing some of that indecision, some of that, you know, greenness or the inexperience from that roster that really needs to fall away if they want to make a deep playoff run.
And I mean, the good news is they're not the only one that has got some indecisiveness and some slow starts and, you know, decisions that they make around the Rift. Some of the other teams competing in the playoffs still have got those speed humps they need to get over. And an example of that is actually RNG, who have not looked like their former selves in spring. So there's always possibilities of upsets as we go through our playoff gauntlet, as teams find themselves more and more and discover what the best recipe for success is.
And ultimately, it feels like everyone is a threat right now. If we have teams like Suning Gaming, and then if RNG is one of the weaker teams that are heading into playoffs just due to recent form, you know, what does that say about the rest of the caliber of the teams? You look at the Western Conference just to my right here, and this is, you know, TOP, Edward Gaming, FPX, and Snake. These are probably your 4 weakest teams, and one of those is Edward Gaming. So again, I think the EULCS said the Super 6 that they had going into playoffs. Yeah. I feel like we have the Super 8, that anyone can take games off of anyone, including Suning taking games off of IG.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility, right? And that's a scary thing that we have to consider moving forward for these top teams as well. If someone asked me today, who do you think is going to Worlds? It is one of the hardest questions to answer because of those upsets, because of upstarts like TOP, and I think that's the big one for me. Top sports have just risen above the ranks impressively so.
And it does mean that ultimately someone's dreams are going to come to an end. You know, we have 4 front-running teams right now and only 3 tickets to Worlds. The easiest path is for RNG and Edward Gaming, but that leaves out Invictus Gaming and Rogue Warriors. Now, based off of current strength, you would say that EDG are the weakest of the 4 teams, that they would be the ones that should be denied the ticket for Worlds if we just had the cut here. But again, Edward Gaming, because they took second in spring, it's so much easier for them to get the championship points, to get the auto qualification to Worlds.
It's also because we know they're EDG, and no matter what you say,
they're going to Worlds.
Yeah, we said this during the spring split as well. Like, they were not meant to be a favored roster. We came in and we're like, well, guess what, guys? Congratulations, you get to go to MSI because you're EDG. And they made it to the finals as well. They managed to pull those things off. And that's the thing, you know, we're looking at these teams, these upstarts against the inconsistencies of RNG and EDG, but you know the organizations can bounce back, and they usually do. So that's where it's very muddled.
Now, quickly going back to our previous MVP, you can see it behind us. We're going to put it on your screen right here. It was the Shy. So I thought that Rookie might get it because of the Elder Dragon steal, but rightfully it goes to this Jace into the side lane, which was such a pivotal point controlling the map.
Yeah, I mean, Rookie also had a good game for himself, but at the end of the day, the Shy was actually the one able to break the game open, going towards the bottom lane, getting the inhib, breaking the map, and forcing Suning into no real winning decision is a big part of why the game did in fact end. Or it could have just gone for a very long time with no real victory or win conditions. So credit to the Shy, played very well.
And with the conclusion of Invictus Gaming over Suning, we're actually going to go ahead and bring up the standings. See where everyone has landed. Now, we did see the BLG versus Vici series conclude. It was Vici that ultimately took the win there. And there's still one more series that will happen today. That will be JD Gaming versus LGD. And Rusty, remind me why that one's important.
So if JD Gaming 2-0 LGD, and then they take one map from RNG, even if they lose. The last map of the last set of the split is JD Gaming against RNG. That's in week 11. But if JD 2-0 today and take a single map, they qualify in second place, which means they avoid Invictus Gaming.
And spoiler alert, so if you don't want to know, cover your ears. This match is currently happening in Hangzhou. We are in Shanghai, and LGD are currently winning. So again, RNG fans, you don't want JD Gaming to 2-0 here, and LGD may actually give you your wish.
Can't get themselves to the playoffs, unfortunately, but LGD can still bring happiness for other teams. I guess that's the LGD mantra.
And of course, if you want to check in on this match, it is covered in our Mandarin Chinese casters over at lpl.qq.com or panda.tv/LPL.
Yeah, panda.tv/LPL, huyu.com/t/LPL, douyu.com/LPL. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
You'll find one. lpl.qq.com.
Yep. Ultimately, though, that is it for Rusty and I. We were just here to, excuse me, never mind, I need to talk about Saturday. This is why I'm not allowed to host. So let's go ahead and talk about what's happening on Saturday. Just like, what are you doing? It's FPX versus Edward Gaming, Snake versus Team WE. We needed to talk about the fact that we haven't seen the end of the Western Conference yet. We've got week 10.25.
Yes, so this is happening due to Asia Games. For those of you that don't know why, we have 11 weeks in our 10-week season. This will be the one that kicks it off. It's a lot of Snake, it's a lot of EDG, a lot of WE, and a lot of Western Conference, of course, in general. But Fun plus Phoenix, that's a must-win game. They are fighting with Snake for 4th.
We need to decide the Western Conference and get that all tied up. And I believe the last game after the start of week 11 is RNG versus JD.
Yeah.
And that could possibly decide who goes into second place.
Yeah, that definitely could determine second place. And there's a couple of cool things that actually I wanted to bring up when we get there. I kind of want RNG 3rd, not because they're against IG, but because they could be against Korn if they finish 2nd.
Oh, the Korn rematch against, okay,
How cool would that be?
We've got the rivalries. Everything is still up in the air. I understand that EU, NA, they're in their quarterfinals, and we are just really kicking off the last sprint in the LPL. But this is actually it for Rusty and I. It's our last day in the Super Brand Shanghai Mall. The next time you see us, we will be over in our LCK LPL studio over in 666 and bringing you the coverage of the rest of week 11 as well as the playoffs before our final in Nanjing. So from myself, production, Rusty, have a good night.